We begin with a very serious question. This isn't a joke. Who is in charge at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Look at this Trafalgar, that's Robert Cahaly and Convention of States poll, one of the most accurate pollsters in the country. A majority of the American people believe that it is definitely not Joseph Biden. A whopping 57% think that Joe is not fully executing the duties of the office of president. In other words, Joe's not making the decisions. He's not in charge. I know at times on this program I have joked about this, but honestly, starting tonight, this stops. That stops. This is not a joking matter. America has a president that is now obviously cognitively compromised, and not only the country sees it, our enemies see it. And this cannot be good for anyone. According to this poll, look at these numbers. 58% of independents, they see it. Even 32% of Democrats understand Joe's not really the one in charge. That's right. A third of voters, Joe's own party, believe Joe's not capable of executing his duties in the office of president. And, of course, they see what we all see, and that is somebody that is weak and frail and a cognitive mess and a shell of his former self. And it only appears to be getting worse. The main question now, okay, if he's not in charge, and the polls show that most people don't think he is, who is in charge? Who knew about Joe's condition, and what did they know, and when did they know it? Over the weekend, more struggles as Biden pulled out 2 note cards in an unsuccessful attempt to answer a pretty simple, basic, fundamental question. This is like a softball. You just knock it right out of the park. Not Joe. He's got to refer to the cards. Take a look.
With the most recent hack by the Russians, would you say that this means
We're not sure it's the Russians.
Okay.
I got a brief as I was on the plane. That's why I was late getting off the plane. I'll be in better shape to talk to you about it. Hang on a second. I'll tell you what they sent me, okay? The idea, first of all, we're not sure who it is for certain, number one. And what I did, I directed the full resources of the government to assist in a response if we determine.
That wasn't a hard question. That didn't need notes. Every hostile actor, every hostile regime in the world, they're studying him every day. And they're also becoming more emboldened every day. Look at this report. Chinese state media, they're now publicly boasting about a 3-part plan to invade Taiwan. In case you don't know, America's top ally in the region. In a long, belligerent speech, China's, hostile actor, dictator, Xi actually said that he is committed to the hostile takeover of Taiwan, also vowing that any country that stands in China's way will, quote, have their heads bashed bloody against the Great Wall of Steel forged by over 1.4 billion Chinese people. Now, keep in mind, China is now also, the media is ignoring this, they have teamed up with Russia, and they're now supplying the mullahs in Iran with dangerous weapons that they're using in their proxy wars all over the Middle East. Now, European leaders, they're voicing grave concerns over Iran's nuclear program, as the country will now soon again begin to produce enriched uranium, and a massive violation of Obama's previous and precious nuclear deal. You know, billions of dollars, cargo planes of cash and other currency. No word on how Biden plans to respond to any of these situations. Just like it appears, there appears to be a plan of action against the Kremlin. What's Joe going to do after yet another likely Russian-based cyber attack? Up to 1,500 businesses were targeted this time. The Republican National Committee allegedly breached. So another serious question tonight. Joe, what are you going to do? Or maybe the question doesn't go to Joe. Whoever is actually making decisions at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, what are you planning to do? Maybe you'll divulge who you are publicly. And of course, no one in the media mob is going to hold Biden accountable, ever ask a tough question, just like no one on fake news CNN, 3 broadcast channels, MSDNC, New York Times, Washington Post. They won't dare ask questions about the mental capabilities or lack thereof of their dear leader. Just like they denied riots were riots, just like they protected candidate Joe Biden in his basement bunker, now President Joe. And remember, these were the same idiots who were the biggest proponents of all they wanted to talk about was, oh, the 25th Amendment and whether or not Donald Trump will get a cognitive test all throughout the Trump presidency. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that the armchair psychologists on the left and in the media had no problem diagnosing the President of the United States and demanding his removal from office for a variety of issues. You might recall. Let's go, as Warner Wolf said, to the videotape.
Rosenstein discussed recruiting cabinet members to invoke the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to remove Mr. Trump from office for being unfit.
People close to him during the campaign told me had early stages of dementia. Now, listen, you can get mad at me if you want to.
You can say that's not okay to say, but
it is okay to say.
He is unfit. Invoke the 25th Amendment.
This New York Times article basically showed us how Trump is not only in the early stages of dementia, but he is in cognitive decline.
Watching this president from here, I discussed the 25th Amendment at the end of the first month of the Trump presidency.
Join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the vice president to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment.
He is unfit, and he should step aside. And it may take a 25th Amendment to get him to step aside.
If we applied those standards to Joe, we'd be invoking the 25th Amendment and asking him to step aside. Now, despite Biden's obvious everyday cognitive struggles, the media mob is suddenly unconcerned with the mental capabilities of the President of the United States. They're also totally unbothered by the corrupt Biden family syndicate. In yet another explosive report, I can't wait for a book to come out, Miranda Devine, texts from Hunter's laptop from hell show the president's son complaining that he, Hunter, had to pay for, quote, everything for this entire family for 30 years, including daddy, apparently, while vice president. Other documents revealing that Hunter purportedly paying for his father's cell phone bill, other household expenses. Now, why on earth would Hunter, we know at the time a struggling crack addict and prostitution addict, apparently, why would he be paying his prominent father's bills when he's wealthy? It's almost as if the big guy was just taking his cut of the pie. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.